Hello everyone and welcome back to Wii Bowling. I know it hasn't been that much of a gap between the last video, but after how bad last video's was, I wanted to kind of try it again quickly and try see if we can do any better. Hopefully this video goes much better than the last one. So if you did watch the last one, it was just around 45 minutes of nothing happening. So hopefully we can change that today. We are off to a good start. Good. No, I was about to say, it seems to be listening today, but then that comes along. I was surprised it's actually turning properly for once. But I guess that stopped just to ruin our dreams. Hopefully, of course, the goal is today to get more than 9 strikes in one game. And if it wants to be nice, a perfect game, which would be great. That we could finally say goodbye to normal Wii Sports and go on to Wii Sports Resort Bowling. But then also because then we also have the lovely 100 pin, oh god, the lovely 100 pin challenge as well to play through, and this is really bad. The lovely 100 pin challenge to play through, and then we also have the spin control mini games, which we also have. We actually also have kind of mini games in normal Wii Sports too, which is like, you know, the practice. Oh dear, which is like, you know, the practice stuff. Where you have to like go around the barricades and all that. Then with golf, you have to go hit it in certain targets, and then this is really bad. And then with tennis, you've got to hit a ball many times. I can't remember. I haven't done them in ages. But I think those will be fun to go through. I'm not turning my Wiimote properly. But of course, if you have any games to recommend me to play, any weird and random games that you'd like to see, please, of course, let me know, because it would be great to go through all of them. There we go. It would be great to go through all of them. I think it would be pretty fun, especially especially if any of you suggest any really bad shovelware, because that's always fun to try out. If you didn't know, the Wii was so popular it became a massive market for a load of really bad games to come out, and it just got filled. It just got filled to the brim with all these really cheap games. There's so many out there. It's incredible. Of course, it got some really great games, but some horrible ones too. Because when was it? Of course, a lot of people stopped developing games for the Wii as soon as things like the Wii U came out. Then they made Wii U shovelware, and then but people still made Wii games until I think it was either 2019 or 2020. Might have been 2021 actually. And the last game was Just Dance, which I've never played. Oh, which I've never played in my life. I think I may have done once at a friend's house or something. But I think that was the last ever game to be commercially produced for the Wii, which is it really shows how popular the Wii is and how many people still use it like normally today. I think it's really cool. That's why it's like one of my favorite consoles ever, because of just how iconic and how long lasting it was. It's same with like the Game Boy. The original Game Boy lasted until like a few months before I was born, which is it got released in the 80s and it stopped in 2003, which really good. And it continued to sell even when the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance came out too. It's honestly incredible. Oh, spun it too far. It's honestly incredible how far some Nintendo consoles go. But then we also had the SNES. That was super popular. Then we had the 64. Then we had the GameCube. That wasn't that popular because I don't know, people didn't like it that much. They still bought it, but it wasn't as critically acclaimed as their previous stuff. Then the Wii came out, and then of course they which I think was really clever of them, was to package in the GameCube. I almost said Game Boy. I wish there was Game Boy games on the Wii. All the GameCube stuff on the top of the console, and then allow support for the discs as well. I think that was really cool of them to do, so they could keep their market of GameCube people and still appeal to everyone new, which I think is cool, because then they also copied that over to the DS, where you could play on the original DS, you could play on Game Boy Advance games, and then of course as the DS went on, you could play original DS games using the original cartridges. Same for the DSi. All on the 3DS and 2DS. It all worked, which was really cool. And then we have the Switch. But of course, because the Switch doesn't have two screens, they are unable to implement any backwards compatibility for those cartridges into it, unfortunately. But it is nice to see on the Switch that they're slowly trying to bring back old games, because they just released, well, they didn't just release, like last year, maybe last summer, they released the N64 games onto it. They also released the Sega stuff, didn't they? Or was I getting pranked there? Because I actually haven't got the Plus online subscription. I've only got the normal subscription, but I'm sure I'm not going mad, am I? Did they put Sega games? Did they put Sega? I can't remember. I think, am I getting pranked? I swear they did. No, I can't remember. But it is nice to see. Oh, they added Game Boy. They added Game Boy 2 recently. Which is really cool. I didn't actually expect them to add Game Boy games to their library, which I think is really nice that they're slowly getting it, but it costs an extra subscription, which is it's not the best, because all these games are like, these games appeal to so many people, but not everyone has this enough money to, like, you know, buy this yearly monthly subscription just to play these games. And then you have Nintendo complaining about people like pirating all their old games and stuff, and everyone's trying to show them, well, look, you're stopping all these services as this video is being recorded. eShop died a few days ago for 3DS and Wii U, and people complaining to Nintendo saying, well, you don't like piracy, so why have you shut this down? Why have you shut these great services down, keeping these games open to all these fans, all these people, and you're just deciding to go, no, we're gonna close it completely, and you're never gonna be able to access it again. Someone paid like 200,000 just to buy every product on the eShop, just to preserve everything that was there. Obviously, you can still, anything you purchased, you can still download onto your system, but you have no option now to actually purchase any of these games, and that's why loads of people are turning to piracy to, of course, I don't promote piracy, but a lot of people are turning to this method because, well, there's so many games they can't actually get now, and because they stopped selling, obviously, physical copies, and now all these digital copies are gone. If you watch my retro video, which I made quite a while ago, which you might have seen, is where I talked through the amount of like how much these how much these prices have increased massively because of this problem. And also, I didn't touch on this actually. Oh, that was bad. I didn't touch on this actually in my videos, so I might make another one at some point, just going through all the new stuff that has happened with the eShop and how it's like properly affecting the market now. But what I didn't mention is that, so you know how I showed in these examples, I showed Xbox 360 games, for example, and how people were selling them at really high prices. On the Microsoft Store, you will find like, let's say, I think it was Call of Duty World at War. If people know that game, it is old. It is one of the original games released on, I think it might have been the first COD game to be released on 360 and PS3. I cannot remember, but like, Microsoft are still selling that game on their store for, I think it was its original price, which is nowadays about 20 to 30 quid. So they're still selling these incredibly old games for so much money, and all these companies are like, well, why are you pirating? This is why, because all the physical copies have stopped. People are jacking up the prices so high that for some, like, and then they're like, oh, why aren't you buying it off our store? Well, you're selling this like incredibly old game for its like original price, and well, people can't afford that. There are people who want to enjoy these games and they can't, because how nothing in the market has changed to fit the current state. And it's like, oh, and they're like, oh, but why can't you buy it? And it's just a constant cycle of just, you know, just trying to tell these companies what is happening and what has happened to this market and how it has affected everyone massively. Like, they just don't seem to understand. They think, like, a lot of them think, oh, okay, well, we can make these games available to you then. So with Nintendo, the price of a yearly subscription to their online service is, oh, good score, is $17.99, I believe. I pay about £12 because you should always look for discounted software keys, which is also a very good thing, which I'll go on to in a minute. But it's about $17.99 here for a normal subscription to Nintendo Switch Online, for the basic stuff. So you get your NES and your SNES retro stuff all included with that, plus of course the ability to play online and a few really random stuff for, like, I don't know, Animal Crossing and all that, which I don't think I haven't touched my island in about 2 years. But yeah, it's expensive, like, compared to like, it's the cost of Netflix, pretty much. Actually, no, Netflix is that price never mind. It's not the price of any streaming service. It's one of the it is one of the more cheaper subscriptions actually out there. To be honest, actually, yeah. So Nintendo is currently, I think, the cheapest online subscription there actually is, but it's still expensive. I know you're probably, well, okay, for a whole year, it's about 15 quid. I can just, I don't know, spend my Christmas money on that. But people don't want to do that because then, well, not everyone can do that. Like, especially as, for people who are adults. I'm not an adult yet, so I don't pay all these bills and stuff just yet. But I can imagine as soon as it gets to that, I'm gonna have to cancel, like, some of my subscriptions because I won't be able to afford a lot of it, because a lot of my money that I'll earn will go towards paying these other things which I need. And yeah, so if you're already, let's say a year, you're already paying your bills, you're already paying for, let's say, Disney, you're already paying for Netflix, then you've got all your cable box and everything for your TV, and then you want to put Nintendo's subscription on top. That's gonna be a lot to add on to your current bill, and that's why it's bad. Now, something I said earlier was, of course, buying discounted keys, which I do a lot. Now, of course, you have your sales on Steam and all that, where Steam is great. If you can, like, if you're gonna get into gaming, I would really, really, really recommend you get a PC, because you can emulate, you can do loads of stuff on your PC, and it is so much better than buying a £500, that's actually more than that, like a £700 PS5 or Xbox or something. It's so much better. Like, nowadays you're gonna have to buy systems that are about £800 and plus onto that with all your peripherals and monitors and stuff, but it is so worth the investment. Like, you have to do it. Because first of all, the sales and the game libraries on Steam are incredible. There are so many games on, like, available on PC, not just Steam, on others too, which are incredibly old, like, but you can get them for so cheap on here. And with consoles, you will barely find, like, anything on a large amount of sale. That makes no sense. On sale for a large amount. So when I'm looking for discounted Steam keys and stuff, I mostly use CD keys. There's also like there's also a few other sites which you can use, but that's my main one. Did I feature it in the video? I can't remember if I actually featured it in my video. I don't think I did, but they basically sell all these keys for cheaper, because I think they like bulk buy them so they can like make more of a profit off them. I think that's how it works. I don't know, but I've never had a problem with them. And you can buy games incredibly cheap. You can buy, I think you can buy Doom Eternal on there for about 10 quid sometimes, if there's a sale going on. It's incredible. And then on Steam it would be like still only like 20 quid, so you save yourself quite a lot. And that's why it's good to buy this kind of stuff, because it keeps everything alive and allows you to purchase stuff you wouldn't normally be able to at full price. Like with the RE4 remake, to pre-order was about 40 quid on Steam, but I managed to pay about 32. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. 32 or 35. I can't remember. Something around that, which is infinitely cheaper than paying the full price, which was, no, it was about £44, I think. Is the full price? I can't remember. But yeah, always look for those. Which is, this is a shade tip to you guys. Definitely go ahead and look for those discounted stuff, because it's so much better for you. And people don't realize you can do it, or don't even do like the system, like all the websites that are available for it. Yeah. But yeah, stuff isn't stuff for games isn't going great, especially for consoles. Like, I feel like it's becoming a lost cause. Like, you have all these console games for 60, 70, 80 quid. Like, even though I know some games on PC still are starting to cost that much too, but it's just with consoles, you're never gonna get stuff on sale whatsoever. I think it's such a huge like scam. you have to pay. Oh yeah, on every single console now you have to pay a monthly or yearly subscription just to go and play online. That's really sad. That is really, really bad. And then with PC, you just gotta you just gotta put the internet on your PC and you're good to go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, consoles are really, really just a scam. What happened to the good old days where you could buy a console and just enjoy it for what it was? You didn't have to pay all these extra fees just to use it. Of course, with these subscriptions, they have their benefits to it, where they give you free stuff. Of course, as I've said, with Nintendo, you get access to the library of NES games that they've ported and SNES games. Then you get a few bonuses for some other of their games. With PlayStation, you get games for free, I think every month. And then, of course, that happens with Xbox too. I remember, now, this was the craziest thing. So, I remember Mac in the 360 and in the early Xbox One days, with their gold subscription, I think it's called Game Pass now, but they used to have the gold subscription, which would be your online, and of course every month they'd give you a game or 2 games, I think it was. Yeah, on the Xbox One it was 2 games and 1 Xbox 360 game. Now, it was kind of cheeky of them, because originally, so all the games you got to keep, right? However, after about a year or two, they changed that model so that you actually need the subscription to play them, which I thought was kind of mean of them, I should say, because then they're forcing you to buy their subscription much more now, because, well, you can't play your games anymore. And I was like, hang on a minute, so I've just spent all these hours in this game, like trying to do stuff, and now I was told, well, I've got this game, it's mine to own forever, because I've paid this thing, and it's mine. So with the Xbox 360 games they gave away, those you would be able to keep forever. I'm guessing it's because, well, they're Xbox 360 games. They don't really care about it anymore because it's the old generation. No one's gonna really be, buying that stuff anymore. So why not still give the incentive of something is being given away permanently for free? However, then with the Xbox One games, well, you still have to pay just to use them, and then they released what's now is Game Pass, where you spend about, I think it's $7.99, which is, it's not bad, $7.99 a month though, cheaper than what their gold subscription used to be, which I think was about £15 a month. It was expensive, but it's Game Pass. So if you remember in the early days, I think you'd have things like EA Access, which came out before Xbox Game Pass, is where basically you would pay this monthly fee, and then you'd be able to play, I think, all the EA games. I never got it because EA games are kind of bad. Sorry if anyone plays them, but they did admit that their games are pretty much the same every year, are exact copies every single year, and you are getting scammed. But yeah, they had the first idea of creating this service where if you pay this monthly fee, you'll get access to all of their catalog. You'd be able to play all these games for as long as you want, all of their games for as long as you want, just for this, I think it was the same $7.99 a month. So people were like, oh, That's really cool. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that. 7, 8, let's round up £8 a month. Times that by 12 is a lot of money. I was about to do it in my head, but I kind of £96. £96 a year. You're spending on these games you don't actually own. You could go to a CX store, that's our retro store in the UK where you can buy and resell your games and stuff. I'm sure wherever you're watching, you probably have like an equivalent like GameStop or something. They sell retro games, old games, Xbox 360 and all that. Yeah, when you can buy all these games for quite cheap from a store. Of course, people thought it was great because, well, you could play the new releases, but I'm pretty sure they delayed access to the new releases because, well, that'd be kind of stupid because people could pay $7.99, play it, and then never play it again. Of course, they would get much more money if they still make people pay for like this subscription and then have to go and buy the new game before it's then released on the service like a year later. Which is kind of bad. It's kind of a scam, really. But then let's go back. Xbox released their Xbox Game Pass subscription, which contains about pretty much all of their popular catalog. It contains a load of games, but which I think is actually more worth than what EA's subscription was. You have so many games with so many different publishers. I actually think EA is included with it now. Been for a while now. But yeah, it's great. It's a great service, but then it comes at that cost. And a lot of the games you can buy in disc form for so much cheaper. And of course, people have bought you. We're starting to get into the generation where we're having discless consoles. So they are forcing this digital economy onto you, forcing you to buy from their online store. And it's costing people much more. Now, of course, with Xbox, their discless and disc version are two very different consoles in terms of power. The S is the discless version, and it has got slightly lower amounts of power. I think it can only go up to 1080 on games. So it's a much cheaper alternative. It's about £200 cheaper, and then you have the disc version, the X, which can go up 4K gaming and all that, which I think, okay, that's fair. That's fair for a move into discless consoles. Like, if you don't buy the disc version, because they know people are still using discs, and they know, like, well, yeah, okay, we're gonna put this on our highest product with the most power, so people are forced to buy it and spend so much money on it, which is clever. However, PlayStation's tactic is the same console, two versions. You see, they've put themselves into a problem there. Of course, there's people with a large digital library on PlayStation from all the games they may have built up from I know their subscriptions, but it would have been smarter to go the Xbox way and make people purchase this higher version at this cost. Because, yeah. But that went on a huge tangent. That was a good conversation. We've been doing pretty well at this bowling today. I mean, obviously it's not been as great as previous, but we've been getting many more strikes this time than last time. No. But yeah, that was a good conversation. I can talk about retro stuff for a very, 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 very long time. If you do enjoy stuff like that, then do let me know, because I'd love to make more videos on it. Just talking about the current stuff that's going on, my favorite retro stuff, going into collecting retro. If you watch my video, you would have seen that I like to collect all the old consoles. I have an SNES, an NES, Game Boy, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, and then of course the Wii, which technically counts as retro. And then in terms of, in terms of old consoles, I have a 360, a PlayStation 3, which I really, really want to get working, because I really, really, really want to play the original Little Big Planet. If you have not ever played Little Big Planet, it is a incredibly, incredibly fantastic game. It is amazing. Number 1 and number 2 were awesome. They were so good. And then they decided to change. They changed developer, not publisher. They changed developer, and number 3 was kind of it wasn't great. Wasn't good. Number 1 and number 2 are like some of my most nostalgic games ever. I would play them so much as a child. Like, I want to go play it now. When I was a child, it was a lot of Lego games. I used to play a lot of those. I think those would be fun to go through at some point. A lot of Lego games, the Little Big Planet games, of course my Wii games. We had all the Wii Sports and all that I went through, and then I got and then my dad introduced me into the Civilization games. If you never played them, they're really fun, but you have to be really strategic. But the console version, the Civilization Revolution, is one of my favorite games, just because of the nostalgia and how comedic these games used to be. Like, they used to put in loads of different jokes into them and stuff. Like, if you conquered, like, say you wiped out the whole world, at the end when you get your victory, all the little NPCs on the map would just start dancing, and I found it so funny. But yeah, this would be so good. So many games we could go through. But of course, if you have any other games too that you recommend me playing, please let me know, because I'm up to play a load of stuff on the Wii, instead of just going through the basic cycle of that I'm currently doing with Wii Sports, Mario Kart, Wii Party, and all that. but I would love to. I would love to go back and play all these old games. But of course, maybe I'll do like a request series where you guys can all give me like a game, and I'll go and play it, and if I enjoy it, then I can continue it too. And if you all enjoy it too, I'll definitely continue it. I really want to get. I really want to go back and play Little Big Planet. Oh, but it's all at home. That's the only problem. Is the old. Oh, why can't all the consoles be as slim as the Wii? Like, if the PS3 was tiny, I would have brought it with me everywhere, because Little Big Planet. Oh, the amount of nostalgia in that game. Oh my goodness. Oh, you don't know how much I love that. Fantastic. See, this is why. I'm glad that I started talking about this today. I hope it's been entertaining for. I hope it's been entertaining for all of you guys too, because this is. Yeah, it's been a nice conversation. But if you do want to see more videos of me talking about retro stuff, playing retro stuff, which I kind of already am doing, but like talking about it, like all the old stuff that I collect, showing off all of that stuff, please do let me know. But other than that, I believe this will be the last game for today, and then I think I'll leave it here for today. Let's try getting a good game, hopefully a new score would be nice. Let's try get a good score to end off this really cool video. Never mind. Never mind. Oh well. Well, I think I will leave it there for today. I think we've done quite well. Mostly just trying to get those strikes in. I think we're almost there. We're almost there. I think I need to find like a good tactic to get that strike every single time, but it just won't get there. But if you did enjoy, please go and check out any of my other videos, and also go, of course, like and subscribe if you want to see any more, or if you'd like to keep up to date. It wasn't working then. Like to keep up to date with any other new videos that I post. Of course, recommend me any games you want to see me play, and then yeah, go and check out my socials in the link description below if you want to keep up to date with anything else that I post, or do, in fact. But other than that, thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.